circling back a little bit to your surgery, I think we would miss something important if we didn't sort of get a chance to hear what that was like for you going into it and coming out of it. I mean, you shared with us that, you know, food was more of just like a vehicle for like emotional connection with people more than like emotional comfort for yourself. So that's really cool. I think a lot of people use food for emotional comfort for themselves and probably a little bit of everything, to be honest with you. But what was it like going into that surgery knowing that like your relationship with food was going to forever change? You know, were you at all were you were you feeling any sense of desperation going into that surgery? Like, I need this. This is the only thing that's going to work for me. Were there any nerves? How was it coming out of that surgery and not having that same connection, just to be able to hammer down a plate or two of food whenever you chose to at any moment, and having that gone? What was it like? How much pain was involved with the surgery? How long did it lay you out, if it laid you out at all? Can you just sort of tell us, like,
Yeah.
the 72 hours going into that surgery, and maybe like the first 72 hours coming out, and maybe the first 3 weeks beyond that? What was that like for you?
Yeah. I will say that prior to surgery, I had compartmentalized my relationship with food in from a problem perspective to social environments. If I didn't go out to eat with my friends, then I wouldn't have a 1,500 calorie meal.
That's interesting. Can I step on you just for a second?
Sure.
I am the opposite. When I go out and eat with my friends, I'm talking. I'm giving my body time to adjust to the food I'm eating. And there's been times where I eat a plate of food and I look down at it and I go, "Oh, these guys think I'm completely faking. They think I'm just not eating because they're here." But the reality was I slowed down enough to actually let the body accommodate the food I was eating, versus when I'm alone, I
Oh,
just sit in the
right.
corner and I hammer food as fast as I can unintentionally, and I will eat triple the amount as if you and I were out having lunch together.
No, no, absolutely. But for me, I wanted to go out and have an experience that would create memories with other humans.
Hmm.
So we would sit down, a family, with some friends. Let's take, for example, the Olive Garden. Let's say that you and I took our families out to the Olive Garden together.
Hmm.
Well, I wanted to make this a great experience that we can look back on fondly.
A dining
So
experience, as I would call it, Eric. I would call it a
Exactly.
dining
I
experience.
want a dining experience.
Yeah,
So I'm
totally.
going to order a couple of appetizers.
Yeah,
Yes, we're going to get calamari, stuffed
yeah.
mushroom,
Okay,
and
same.
three boats of, Alfredo so we can dip our breadsticks in it while we're waiting for
Funny.
everything else to
Hmm.
come. And then, oh, no, we're going to order four desserts and everybody's going to have their own fork and we're going to pass those desserts around so everybody gets a taste of different things. I'm looking for the experience. Now, if I'm going to cook for myself, I'm just going to eat a lot and eat a lot of it at home. So, but to your point, one of the things that they really impressed in the preparation for the surgery was learning how to eat slower so your body could have that mind stomach connection of eating something, go into your stomach, and then sending the message up to your brain. All right, we're at 25%, Captain. And then, all right, we're at 50%, Captain. And when you get to that, 80, 90%, you get to say, I'm full. And you realize, you look down, I've only had 400 calories because I'm eating the way but we blow right through those. I used to blow through those all the time. I'd go out to Blackberry Diner, love that place. Give me a grizz, the grizzly size chicken fried steak. Well, they didn't serve the extra large portion without three eggs, and I wanted an extra one, so I would have three eggs, the biggest chicken fried steak, more hash browns than I can, shake a stick at, and I'm gonna have, the English muffin. I would literally clear my plate within 10 minutes.
Hmm.
I just consumed 2,000 calories in 10 minutes and my mind hasn't said you're full. I was missing that. I would do that over and over and over. Just, I'm like, oh, this is good. This is good. I'm having a food experience. This is great.
Mhm.
It wasn't until post-op that I realized that my food relationship wasn't just in social environments. I was also using it as, a an anxiety medication when my family would go to sleep. You got young kids in elementary school, you got challenges, with your job, you have challenges in your marriage. And when everybody else goes to sleep and I'm sitting downstairs in my lazy boy chair watching Sports Center at 10 o'clock at night, bag of Ruffles sounds pretty good.
Mhm.
Not necessarily it's going to make me feel better, but it's almost out of boredom to where I'm being more distracted from the problems of my life and trying to solve them. I'm going to hide from them in this bag of chips, in this quart of ice cream, in the leftovers from,
Yeah.
dinner. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't
So,
think I've ever cried into a plate of food before, but I definitely distracted eating all the time,
yep,
entertainment eating all the
yes,
time, and because that was a distraction from whatever. Maybe that's why I didn't cry because I
yeah.
was eating the Ruffles, right? So I don't I get what you're saying. So you're going into the surgery. What was it like, going to the hospital that day? What was it like? How long were you at the hospital? What was it like going home? Like, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So there's, I had, normal anxiety, but I'm the eternal optimist. So I, just knew everything was going to work out for the best. I was going to get through it, no problems. So I was going in there with that kind of mindset, but still, I'm going into the hospital. They're going to put me under. They're going to, give me pain meds and they're cutting out a portion of my stomach. So those realities were still in my mind, but I'm like, the benefit of having a tool that's going to assist me in a lifelong weight loss journey or a health journey trumps my fears of this surgery right now. So going into surgery, they give you good, Valium beforehand, so you're feeling nice and comfortable when you're getting into prep. And I had the funniest prep nurse. She was great. I wish I knew her name or was able to stay in contact with them. But um, she was joking with me the whole time leading up to it, and like you always hear, all right, we're gonna count down from five, four. I was gone, and I wake up. I don't know how many hours later. I think 3 or 4 hours later,
Huh?
and I felt bloated in my chest cavity, but not necessarily that stomach bloat, if that makes sense. Like
Hmm.
I felt like I just all this was, and but that's what they do. They made so with the vertical sleeve, they make 5 incisions on your stomach. It's all orthoscopic. So you don't have I don't have any kind of big zippers or anything, any kind of scars like that. But they go in there and they cut out the portion of the stomach that they need to remove. They suture you all up and you wake up, a couple hours later. And the reason that I felt so bloated is that when they put the tubes into you, they actually blow gas into your stomach to expand it. So
Mm.
they know they can see what they're working with
Hmm.
inside,
Hmm.
inside your guts. Um, so that was the most discomfort I had. The surgery itself, it was a little uncomfortable, because you have little incisions and they cut through, your muscles in order to get to, so you got some tenderness. It wasn't unbearable. The biggest thing for me was the gas pains in my, chest and stomach cavity. And as soon as I woke up, they were pushing me to start taking laps around, the floor to start to work that gas out. I mean, I had the loudest, most obnoxious gas. I mean, I wish I would have recorded some of it because those farts were so epic, and none of them smelled, which was great. Um, So
thank
anyway,
you for bringing this up, because I had these questions and I just thought I'm not gonna ask, but I imagine when I heard
yeah.
blow it up your stomach, I was like, oh, you probably had some incredible gas after that.
Oh
So
yeah, it was
you did,
epic.
huh? Okay, good to know.
So leading into surgery, they put you on a liquid diet. So 24 hours, you're only drinking, Gatorades and waters, and you can have a little bit of broth. Um, and then, your standard, you're not going to eat anything afterwards. So I think 4 days I was on liquids, clear liquids. But they did have me find a an isolate protein that was clear. So it would, and I would didn't start that until like day 3 or day 4. Isopure was the brand of drink that I was using. 40 grams of protein per bottle. It was pretty good, and it didn't taste like, a lot of the protein shakes taste. It was, kind of refreshing, almost like drinking, some Gatorade. Anyhow, so about, I guess, a week afterwards, I was able to introduce some soft foods, so scrambled eggs, that sort of thing. And then probably about 3, 4 weeks out, I was eating, relatively normal solid foods. Now, this isn't the normal foods that I was eating 4 months prior to having surgery, but you're eating clean, whole foods. So breakfast would be, a couple of eggs, maybe a slice of ham. And at the time, I'd be lucky if I could get one egg and a bite of ham in, because you just get full so fast. Lunch was very much the same. Have a couple bites of chicken, and then add in any leafy greens that you can manage. Because it was explained to me, and this is a great analogy. If we all ate this way, we wouldn't be heavy. But if you consider the old analogy of the science teacher when you were in high school, bringing up a clear crystal vase, and he would say, "All right, is this vase empty or is it full?" And of course, everyone's going to say it's empty. And then he puts a bunch of river rocks in it, and he said, "Okay, now that it's full of river rocks, is this jar full?" No, it's got more room. So he pours some, small pebbles in and fills it up. And is it full? No. Then he pours sand in. Is it full? And then, most of the class, yeah, it's full now. And then there was one bright kid in the back who said, no, it's not full. And then they were able to pour water in it. And so you have river rocks, pebbles, sand, and water all in this one container, and it's now full. And if you think of protein as the river rocks that you want to try and fill your stomach up with most, because that has the most nutrients for your body to maintain and build muscle, then you can start to fill in with lesser categoried or lesser prioritized foods. Then you can add in, your veggies. Then you can add in, your complex carbs. Then you can add in, whatever. And if you're still full and you have a little bit of room, okay, go ahead and take the next step into, rice. Go ahead and take the next step into a bite of toast or something like that. So it's all about, prioritizing the, the building foods and not so much on the slider foods.
Mhm. That makes a lot of sense. And I think that's what we don't know how to do, is we don't know how to, like, in a healthy way, put protein into our diet anymore. I think everyone's just living off of Cheetos and bread
Yeah.
and soda and
We're
all
such
that.
a fast-paced society nowadays
Yeah.
that we make all these, it was such a big deal like when the gas stations stayed open 24 hours a day and were open on Sundays, because then, wow, I can do all these other things and then I can go get my gas on Sunday.
Mhm.
And now we've just packed our lives with so many things. I know when I had, my kids were younger, we're going to dance recitals and dance rehearsals and football practice and baseball games and this, that, and the other, that we're constantly eating at gas stations or fast foods
Mhm.
just to get a meal in
Mhm.
versus thinking about maybe we should pull back, slow down,
Yeah. And
eat
when
right,
mhm.
and go forward.
And when
But,
I'm home, I'm resting because I'm tired.
Yeah.
I eat once I get in the car and go out. I don't do this anymore, but I was eating fast food easily for half of my meal. Half of my food intake was probably drive-through, which is
Oh, yeah.
insanity. Absolute
We call
insanity.
that pre-gaming in my life
Now,
because
go ahead.
on my way home from work, I would stop off at McDonald's, get a couple McChickens,
Oh,
and then eat the meal that the family had prepared.
yeah. I didn't exactly ever get into that exact routine, but I definitely know what it was to go get half of the dinner at one fast food drive-through and then go get the other at another
Yeah.
fast food drive-through because I felt embarrassed ordering so much all at one window. So I would separate it to try to hide my shame. So here you are. It's been